got you in
Yep.
to sit down and chat to me about two things. One is 037 bodywork,
Yep.
and then the front and rear space frames. I bring these up because with Carteroni
Yeah.
and with Rebel Autoworx, Carteroni sort of the before times, the 037 panel sets and the front and rear space frames were available for purchase as two separate units. So if you wanted to build your own 037
Yep.
At home, you could purchase these
That's
two
right.
different components. And that's what Rebel is offering as well. So I'm going to go and buy some.
Yep.
But I wanted to get the engineers' insight onto
Okay.
these two components so people
Yeah.
can have a little bit more understanding about what went into their construction, their development, and what makes them really good. Because
Cool.
they are really good, because
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Cool. No, that's
So,
right.
yeah, so I thought we'd start by talking about the panel sets,
Okay.
basically.
Yep.
And I remember on a couple of the Carteroni projects,
Yep.
we got to work with a panel set that had been taken off of, well, not taken off of, basically had the mould that they were using
Yeah.
was based on some original
Yeah.
panel sets
That's right.
from an actual Works 037.
Yeah.
And working with those was quite a different experience to the
Yeah.
ones that we have produced
Yeah.
locally. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I suppose the way to come about this is to think about how we started out building our 037, the prototype 001.
Exposition
And
time.
Yes. So
In the film.
basically, I was really not too worried about the chassis side of things because, that was sort of something that was right up my alley. But I wasn't really too worried about the body panel thing at that stage. But as the project progressed, we then involved Marty, who built the Stratos, and basically he came on board and did our panel set for us. So the reason that he could come and build a panel set of plugs to take moulds for building more was the fact that the original 037 has the same cockpit and centre tub skin as a Monte Carlo. So that gives us a defined starting point going forward for the front clip, and it also gives us a defined cut-off line for the front of the rear clip. And there's information out there and drawings and that sort of thing of the original car, and that gives us an end point for both
Gives you
those
rough
those things,
dimensions
and
about
it gives
how
us
big.
rough dimensions and the width and that sort of thing. And also Marty travelled to Italy and
Made the pilgrimage.
and visited Rally Legends and visited K-Sport and that sort of thing, and basically did a lot of measuring things and that sort of
He steeped
thing.
himself in the
Yes,
the
that's right.
artisan,
Yeah, the art
land
of
of
the,
the-
of
the art.
037. Yeah, for
and
sure.
then he came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Marty spent a lot of time sculpting our plugs, and basically he attached polystyrene and all sorts of
Sorry,
stuff
I just had
to.
this intrusive thought. Do you think
Yeah.
he looked at the fiberglass? You know how they say with like a sculpt who carves from marble, they like look at the big block and then they see the sculpture. Do you reckon he looked at the fiberglass and was like, I see it? So
Yep, for sure.
he probably did. He was really onto it.
It's such a beautiful car. And
He did it
when
justice,
when you
absolutely.
start sculpting the panel or whatever, it's a touchy-feely arty thing. And Marty is superb at this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, hats off. And when you see the process happening in front of you, because basically he did it in the Carteroni workshops, and while I'm
Back in-
doing stuff, he's doing the body panel set.
Many years
ago. Many years ago. Anyway, so he did the sculpting of of the body panel set, and that's great. And I basically said to Marty, I want it to be as good as possible, because I really hate doing body work and paint and that sort of thing, and it's really big bone of contention with me is having to cut stuff up, rejig it, bog it, or
bog. That's
bog.
a very
bog's
sinful
pretty
word
bad
in this
word. Okay,
workshop.
using whatever polyester filler and that sort of stuff, blah de blah. Not really keen on that. So he made a really great plug set for FDL, who is our composites supplier in fielding. They basically took over our plugs that Marty had made, and they made production molds of those plugs, and then to test the molds, they popped out a set of panels, and that's the set of panels that's on 001.
They nailed it the first try, basically.
Yeah, they popped out brilliantly, and that sort of thing.
They still look good, those panels. It's awesome.
And so we use pre-production panels on 001, and I mean, I've
secret.
I've really had a few incidences with that car. I won't go into specifics,
it's a rally
but
car.
she's
It's gotta get
standing. Yeah,
damaged.
she's a bit battle scarred and that sort of thing. But it's standing up to it really well, and that's great. So we've got FDL in fielding, and they professionally make the panel sets for us.
They're like a really key fiberglass provider, just all over New Zealand. Like they do
Yes,
a huge amount.
and internationally,
Yeah.
and so basically I defer all my inquiries regarding fiberglass stuff to FDL, and basically they will take care of it, and they do stuff for aeroplane avionics and that sort of thing. So they're very experienced in high class, high grade composites work and that sort of thing. So when we are looking towards our new car, the all-wheel drive car, and the continuation car for Rebel, we're going to incorporate some other really cool aspects into our composites stuff for that car. But when we're just talking about panel sets, FDL do a great job for us, and I don't think you'll find a better finished product on the market at the moment. And so that brings us around to that part of the conversation.
Discussion of when you worked with a panel set that wasn't our production line.
No. So one of our customers, our very, very good friend Michael, and Michael wanted to be able to take his car to Europe and park it beside a real 037 Corsa, and so he really
wanted it to be no difference, basically.
Yeah, he wanted no difference between the two cars, and so he believed that the only way he could do that was to buy a panel set out of Europe, and so he did. So he bought a panel set out of Europe, shipped it to us here in New Zealand, and we got to unpack it and then try and fit it to the car. And so try is a good word, because you need to fettle them quite a lot to make them fit properly. And also the mould for those particular panels was taken from an ex-competition car, and unfortunately they hadn't done any remedial work to the panel before they'd taken the mould.
It's an interesting situation, because it's kind of like, I suppose if you're taking a mould straight off the original car, if you do that remediation, then it sort of isn't really an original, like casting's not the right word, but I think the big thing to focus on here is not so much whoever took the mould or anything like that. I think it's more just that, as we chatted about in the last episode, the 037 is 45 years old. These cars, the bodywork
Yeah.
Probably had to be put together quite quickly.
Yep.
They were
Yep.
thrashed around on the World Championship stage, and now they've aged 45 years. That original panel set's probably not in great nick, great condition after all of that.
Yep.
And so it's kind of understandable why a copy taken from the original panels would have things like just warps and
It's not so much the warpage and stuff, it's like starbursts from stone damage underneath.
Okay.
It even had the markings where the original bonnet pin mountings had attached to the cars.
So we had to cut that out and stuff?
Well, no, I mean, we just left that for the paint people to sort out later on. So, so you've got all these imperfections in the panel, and then some of the panels wouldn't fit properly to the car and that sort of thing. So they had to be cut and shut and a little bit of that going on. So it wasn't a happy time to be trying to fit that panel set up and that sort of thing. So it was really, pros and cons, good things, bad things. It really showed me that our panel set that we supply, the finish on it is so much better than what we were supplied out of Europe. So, the amount of money that you'd have to spend on the surface prep for this panel set that came out of Europe, as opposed to the Carteroni panel set, is just huge, and you'd have to paint the car. So using our panel set, basically you can spec the colour of the gel coat.
Yeah, so this is actually an important thing.
It is.
To make clear, because on the Carteroni side of things, we'd often get questions about paint. But our panel set, the Rebel Autoworx / Carteroni panel set, it's not actually meant to be painted. The paint is actually a gel layer that's incorporated into.
It's basically put into the mould
during the construction, basically. So. Just if you want to explain that from an educated point of view.
So basically, as a part of the release process of making a composite part, you have gel coat that's sprayed into the mould, and that, once it has the composite material laid over the top and that sort of thing, then allows the article to come free of the mould more easily than if you were just laying up fiberglass straight into a mould. So it's part of the process of allowing it to be released, but it also has pigmentation in it. So you can have it in lots of different colours. If you want the panel not to grow in sunlight and that sort of thing, you pick a light colour, a colour that reflects the sun back off it without heating up too much, because composite material expands at a huge rate with sunlight and that sort of thing. So we don't like the idea of black panel sets are a little bit of a no-no, although there are some black pieces on some of the panel sets. But mainly the lighter colours, like maybe yellows or whites or whatevers. We do have a red gel coat, which we've colour matched to what the original 037 Stradale was. So that colour is available. I mean, it does have a cost offset to have the pigmentation, but I mean, it's a small cost when you associate it with not having to paint the final product, because paint prep and painting of a car is really expensive these days. And so with our panel sets, we don't have to worry about that.
Just put a livery on.
So that's really cool. I'd just love to go and grab a panel if I could quickly.
You can do it really fast.
So I'll do it really, really fast. So if you keep talking to these guys, I'll quickly go and grab this panel and we'll show you what it looks like, because I've got a special panel set here that is X-mold, and what that means is they've popped it out of the mould, they've taken the fence they've buffed the fence line off it, and that is it. And so just
All right.
have a talk to Connie,
Okay.
and I'll just run away.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I shouldn't cut this. All right. Well, one thing you might be noticing on the drawing board at the moment, we have a picture of one of our initial early concepts for the full space frame chassis. This is the middle section, is where all the magic has happened. Hopefully you can't actually read any of the measurements on it. It probably doesn't really matter. We have made a lot of changes, but this is the sort of document that Allan is using on his drawing board when he's mocking up designs with his pencil. And here he is.
All right, I'm back.
With the piece.
I'm
So you're
back.
going to have to put it quite in the centre.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So
So
here
what
we
is this
have.
piece?
Here we have. Look, it's got FDL.
Yeah.
www.composites.co.nz.
Yep.
You can't buy this directly from them.
No.
But if you have a job, like you might be outfitting some trains,
Trains.
rail cars, buses, with interior,
You can go
composite
to them.
stuff, you can go to Fiberglass
Yep.
Developments.
That was a free
That's
plug
just a
for them.
free plug for them.
Anyway.
Because they deserve it, they're awesome. So let's see if we can find the. Oh, we haven't really got a fence line. Have we got a fence line
It's
anywhere?
too beautiful.
Okay, we've got
Anyway,
no
this
fence
is
line on this.
the fuel tank cover, everyone.
Well done,
for a
there,
Lancia
Connie.
037. And as you can see, it's beautiful.
Like it's shiny, isn't
it's
it?
very gleaming. It's a
It's
little
shiny,
bit dusty.
and I said to them, don't do anything to the panel set apart from buffing off the fence lines if it's got fences.
Would you like to
Obviously-
turn it around so we can see the inside?
So we'll have a look inside and see. We've got a sticker on there. It tells you it's the side panel and
right
that sort of
hand.
thing. And yeah, so beautiful. Don't negate that bit there. That's something I've been
We don't worry
stuffing
about
around
that piece.
with. So that's cool. But anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, and they weigh them and that sort of stuff. And yeah, so beautiful, shiny, love it.
Yeah,
Yep,
really
yep,
awesome.
got to be good. Right, so I'll just put that
You
over
go
the way.
take that
I'll
back.
just-
So I've got
I'll just-
one.
oh,
Yeah.
have you got another thing?
I've got
Oh,
one more question about panel set
Oh, have
before
you?
we
Okay.
move on to
Okay.
space frame. I'm sure it'll be fine down there. Nothing's going to
Yeah,
stand on it.
nothing's
So
gonna stand on it.
This
That's good.
might annoy you, this question, but I'm going to ask it on behalf of the fine folk who are watching this.
Right.
What about
okay.
a carbon fibre panel set or a Kevlar? See, he really hates this question.
Okay,
So, but I want
so-
you, like, why is it
Okay,
something?
all
Because
right,
for
well,
most of
yeah,
us,
yeah.
we see you can buy, if you've got a flash BMW, you can buy a carbon fibre bonnet and you can just get them off eBay. So what about it
Yeah.
for the 037 in particular is such a...
Well, for me personally, when we talk carbon fibre, carbon fibre is a really rigid thing.
I'm just going to jump in here.
Yep.
If you would like a carbon fibre 037 panel set, you can absolutely make one, but it will cost a lot more money because
Yeah,
it
I mean,
hasn't been done.
Yeah, I'm not keen on carbon
I mean,
fibre.
you can buy
for this sort
anything,
of thing.
but
yeah. I mean, you can-
continue. Got to just,
Yeah. I mean, we'll do anything at a
sell it.
price. That's for sure.
Oh my God.
So carbon fibre has its place for very high structural integrity sort of things, and that sort of thing, like yacht masts, yacht spars, that sort of thing. I'm talking race boat stuff. New Zealand has some of the greatest racing boat technology guys, who work in composites and that sort of thing. But they use the material the way it is optimized, and they autoclave it and that sort of thing to make the articles. Basically, we're not looking to try and autoclave a rear clip, a front clip. They're large items, and it doesn't add anything to the car structure-wise to have this carbon clips. It makes the car look sexy because everybody goes ooh-ah over
Would it be
carbon.
lighter? I think that's a conception, maybe misconception about carbon fibre. It's just always lighter than...
Well, I mean, we can
everything
make a really light glass panel set that's cost effective and that sort of thing. And I mean, to make the equivalent thing in carbon fibre, really it needs to be autoclaved to get the maximum
There's actually a huge amount
effect.
of development. Then you have to find an autoclave, and then it's just
that's big enough to do that.
And then
that sort of thing.
If you're out rallying your 037 and you scrape up against a bank on your rally stage and your carbon fibre clip is sheared off, you have to order a new set, and that could be
Yeah, so I mean, it's I'm a little bit anti carbon fibre. I mean, we can make you carbon fibre stuff. It's best to use pre-impregnated cloth, as far as I'm aware, but you can use carbon fibre woven roving, just the fabric, but it won't come out looking quite right, because when it gets manipulated, when it's been laid up, the fibres can move and that sort of thing, and so you get that distortion and things, and it's made by people, and so it can be a little bit off. But if it's pre-impregnated cloth, then it doesn't move like that, but it does need to be autoclaved to get the full use out of it. So that's possibly another thing that you could be thinking about with, okay, we're building a new modern design 037. Why isn't our tub carbon fibre? And that sort of thing. Why didn't we do a carbon fibre tub? Well, basically because the value of that is just extreme, and we want to make something which you can purchase and run and enjoy using it on gravel.
I think there's also a question, and I'm not a material scientist, but as news events of the past 5 years have shown, carbon fibre is not actually appropriate for a lot of use cases, and I was like, submarine.
Oh, right, okay, yes, all right.
Respectfully.
Yes.
But also anyone who's ridden a carbon fibre mountain bike might know carbon fibre can sometimes be very prone to snapping, shearing away. And I'm speaking this with no knowledge, but I think about a rally car, the types of impact and the work it's doing, carbon fibre might not be an entirely appropriate material for really important areas in that structure, as opposed to, say, like a Formula One car or something like that. I guess it's just that just because it's the hot and popular, really cool, trendy material doesn't mean that it's always going to be best. But I still am fully one of those people who's in the camp saying, oh, it looks cool. It really does look very cool. So can empathise with that. But I thought I'd just ask that question. Probably could do a whole episode on that, but I think now we should talk about the space frames.
Okay,
so as we've got them up here, they're awesome, they're beautiful. Why are they so amazing? How did Lancia just make this incredible piece of structure? Why is it so awesome?
Basically, what we've done is we've basically copied what Lancia did. I went to Australia and I measured up a real Lancia 037 there, and we took the tube dimensions and that sort of thing, and all the pickup points and the geometry of the space frames and that sort of thing. We copied that stuff down. The front space frame is so triangulated, it's not funny. It's just incredible amount of triangles in there, and that basically spreading the load from the front suspensions through all these elements to spread it out through the rest of the chassis and that sort of thing, and that's really important. The front end does a lot of work, and then you've got the rear end of the car, and once again a lot of triangulation and that sort of thing, and it just spreads the load through so beautifully and that sort of thing. So what we've done with our continuation car, the new Rebel car, is basically we've taken our already proven products, which are a front and rear space frame, and we've incorporated it into a ROPS and the centre part. But what we have done in the past, and what Rebel are doing, is offering the front and rear space frame as a package that someone with a Monte Carlo who has a lot of technical ability and that sort of thing, who wants to convert their Monte Carlo or Scorpion into a 037 chassis can purchase those two items from Rebel and fit them to to their tub.
So
yeah.
I guess extending on that point, how hard is it to produce these front and rear space frames? Just if you're one person, because I'm sure, and I hope, there are some people watching who themselves are toiling hard to construct their own 037s themselves, and they might also understand how difficult it is to construct the front and rear space frame.
Yeah.
So
so I mean, it's not something you jump into willy-nilly just to
have fun with the welder one day.
But basically, we studied a car. We took a lot of pictures of it. We did a lot of measurement work, that sort of thing, and then we came back and basically you have to look at it in several different ways. There's several different levels of the space frame and that sort of thing, and basically you've got to pare it back and think about remaking it and that sort of thing. And so we basically started jigging it from 001, and basically I built that space frame without really working with any idea of introducing it into CAD and that sort of thing. So it was all handmade and hand notched and that sort of thing, all the tubing. And so the amount of time it took to build that first one, and then subsequently 2 more sets were built by hand notching and all that sort of thing, and the amount of time it takes to do all that is just prohibitive, really, in the scheme of things. But
fine if you're an individual, like sort of hobbyist or something. But if you want to get these if you want to actually, well, I guess putting it bluntly, make a business out of it.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to think a little bit further ahead. And we did, and so we invested money in CAD drawing the space frames, and then we invested money with a laser cutting company, and so they laser cut our tubing that we've imported, and basically we feed that into our jigs that we've made, and basically weld them up. So the other thing is that with the previous space frames that Carteroni have sold to customers, they're predominantly TIG welded, and TIG welding of tubular space frames is a great way of linking up the pipes, but it's very, very time consuming, and it's not
scalable, you could say.
No, not really. It's not really scalable. Basically, we need to, if we're going to do a volume sort of thing, we need to look at a different process of assembling them and that sort of thing.
Ultimately, if we have that volume, it can reduce the cost.
Yes,
for the people
exactly.
who want to buy them,
yeah,
and that's
just, right.
Yeah,
that's
everyone
right.
needs that. Everyone wants that.
But if you're first onto the carousel, you're going to be paying a little bit higher price, but you're also getting the first of something. You can be saying, okay, well, I've got a Carteroni Rebel product, but I'm the first one with a Carteroni Rebel product.
I would be smart about that.
And then later on, you're still going to be the first one, while Joe Bloggs is number 25 off the rank, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there are pros and cons with being early onto the market and that sort of thing. But we started building our car around 2010, 2012 sort of area, and so we're still here and we're still making these space frames. So
the space frames in the Carteroni 037, like, they've just never had issues, which is awesome.
And that's another thing.
The only problem we've had on that car, I was thinking about it last night, was it's just engines that's been the issue. Because that's the part that gets absolutely thrashed, but the rest of it's just fine.
Yeah.
The big thing, and I think it does come down to price, both with the space frames and the panel sets, is that these pieces and the panel set just sitting, panel pieces sitting down there, they really are quite complex pieces of engineering.
They are.
It's just not really a simple kit car in the sort of stereotypical sense kind of thing.
No,
I mean, these are designs that won the championship in its day. They're really great. And they're not easy to build because they're built. Nothing that's really amazing is easy to accomplish. You know, trying to get all inspirational.
But the really cool thing about being able to purchase a set of space frames and a panel set, it gets you down the track. It gives people the leg up that they need to attain that car that they aspire to. And so
it's not quite a kit, but it's three
building blocks,
pieces
basically,
that are just so major that if you've got them sorted, you're just so much further down the journey anyway. But it's not the type of thing.
There is still a lot of work that needs to go into the car that you're not going to run out of stuff. You know, by buying a set of space frames and a panel set, you're not doing yourself out of a huge amount of work per se. I mean, you've still got a lot of work to do if you're going to do your own suspension or the work that you're going to have to do with your donor car in rectifying the rust issues, previous crash issues.
That's for another episode while we're going away from that.
and the strengthening that needs to go on in that tub. So, I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, but it gives you something that, you know, you're getting further down the track with your build and that sort of thing. So, that's what that's about.
I think we've done it justice.
Cool.
The only thing that didn't do it justice was my stuff up on my sign.
Oh, well, never mind. That's all right.
Yeah, that's just for us to know about viewers.
You're human. It's okay. I'm human.
There's no mistakes in this amazing
somewhere
stuff.
Along the line, so that's all right.
But on my sign, there's some mistakes.
Cool.
No, I think that wraps it up nice.
Okay. Well, I hope you can take something from that. That would be good.
Subscribe. No.
Yeah. Why not?
Ask questions about space frames and panel sets if you have them, and we can address them later.
Yep.
Because it's a pretty full-on topic, really.
It is. Yeah.
So.
Excellent.
Stay tuned. Okay.
All right. Good.
Done.